Okay, this is the driveway. That's Piper. She's done pretty well the last couple of days. I cut a bunch of stuff back from this road so I can actually drive my beast down here now. Can you see the flags? Well, that pink, orange, it looks orange now, tape on the tree, that's the property line. Piper's going to get bit on the snout at some point. Piper. The road's up that way. Not real happy about it. Okay, here we come to the first site. Oh, by the way, this little tank was here, and I was cutting on this tree so the big truck can come through, and a snake went about 2 feet from my foot, and it wrapped around that tree somewhere. So I've already seen the snake, but nobody would believe it because I was so calm. All right, this was a mess. It was very dangerous. It was like a couple of rooms where that little platform is. I'm saving that wood up there so that if we have another bonfire, we can put all the wood in there, cover it up, and then when it starts raining, we can come out and make a fire like we did before a couple of nights ago. The pile was as big as me, and you can see, can I do this? Right in there is where the fire was. So we haven't gone through that pile of stuff. This was the roofing that I'm going to try to use for like a wood shed or chicken coop or something. Those 2x4s underneath that table, or 2x6s, whatever it is. I want my carpenter friend to tell me if the integrity is enough to keep it. And then we're going to keep this little thing for a work table temporarily. And then I have my recycle pile, and then a little bit of plastic. I've already taken a load to the dump, and a bunch in my truck already. So there was this shed on the property already. I will probably keep it. I have filled it with plywood at the moment. And I've got other random things that I will be using. So this wall is very interesting, and that's why this has been kept. We're going to fill in those holes with more logs. Then I'm going to make an outdoor kitchen here, because I neglected to tell you, over there on the other side is where I'm going to put a shop. If I do welding, I'll have a safe place to do it in a metal building. And then I'm going to bring my sewing up here because there is power available to this section, and that would be kind of nice. So above these railroad ties, it's kind of flat, and I'm going to do that. I don't know what it's called. Well, I know, but I can't remember. That pounded soil that's oiled. I'm going to do a little more research on that to see if I can put that in an unprotected area so that we could have some outdoor furniture. Picnic table would be fine with me. So those are the windows we took out of the building because we didn't want any more glass. Behind that tarp's a bunch of doors that were in there. Some of them very nice, very nice. And let's see. I'm probably going to build an outhouse up there somewhere because I'm not going to have facilities here. All right, let's swing on around. So the gravel guy came out yesterday morning and we talked. And this is kind of where I park, where I turn around. And it's rained several days that I've been here. So it's pretty boggy, pretty gross. It looks a whole lot better because a friend came out and used her tractor on the ruts and whatnot. She was attempting to make a little bit of a trough on the side. This is going to take quite a bit of work. Anyway, we can't really figure out where this water is coming from. It's just setting here. So the gravel guy thinks that possibly there's a spring here somewhere, which might make this even more work. But we'll worry about that later. It already looks a whole lot better. So that's my parking spot right there. I'm taking that French door back to Oklahoma City. It's going to be my... I'm going to put important pictures behind the glass, and then I'm going to put hooks on the top and the bottom for coats and hats. Not my idea. I stole it. Okay, so here is where things kind of began. And this may be an issue. That water's still really flowing. I'm not sure where to look. So 2 weeks ago, there was a bridge similar to that made out of those railroad ties to walk across. And Brenda and I dug that creek out, went back to Oklahoma to buy that culvert or tile or whistle, whatever you want to call it. And then my call to the guy, the gravel guy, was to come fill this in so we can drive across. Well, this little creek here may be an issue, and then up there where I park may be an issue, and then that lower area down there. So it's going to take at least 2 loads of gravel before he can even bring that big truck down here to fill this in. So, ka-ching, ka-ching. Let's go across my little bridge here. It's not running too much now. I don't know if you can hear it, but you can hear the downstream is a real stream that goes down through the valley, and it is running big time. Okay, so now I've done absolutely no work on this side of the culvert. I'm allergic to cedar, so all these cedar trees are going to come out. There will be some up towards the road because they do provide some element of privacy, some kind of screening. and I'll leave them way down below, but cedar trees suck up all the moisture out of the ground. They're not native, and I'm allergic. But there's some of them that are pretty, and I'll be able to find a way to strip it down, process it, I don't know what the word is, to be able to put a couple of beams in my house, I hope. Okay, here we go. If we take out all these little trees right in here, will be parking and turnaround for my house. Then I'm like 99% sure that my house is going to go right in here. Okay, so that leaves a lot more. Since I'm going to do solar, I kind of liked being up here. And then we can cut down the trees that are along here, and I can have my garden. It'll be long, skinny. Apparently that's what the deer, they don't like the long, skinny gardens as much. But because there's another bench down there, or this is a bench, we'll be able to go close to that. And I don't think I'll have to cut down as many trees because they're lower. I don't know if that makes any sense. So anyway, house right up in here somewhere, not too far up. My house plan is 30 wide and 43 long, and that does not include the overhang for the water catchment. It's pretty secluded from the road. Let's see what Piper's all excited about. Piper. I'm scared that she's going to come up with a snake. We'll get bit. Okay, more cedar that's going to come out. Now I'm walking on an old logging road. See how beautiful it really is, even with the damn cedar. It's just beautiful. So it's south facing. The sun comes up over here. Well, it did in the last few days. And then it goes down over there. It's been a little hazy because they've been doing controlled burns in these parts. Today's actually one of the most clear days. So if we continue on with the logging road, there's two cedar trees right smack in the center of the road. And then there's a lot of debris. Now if it was cleared, it could cross 2 or 3 or 4 properties. I don't know if you can see the way it kind of curves and then curves back around. But it's logging, it's not public or anything. The big road up top actually does cut through my property. So there's that. But it adds a little bit of comfort knowing that nobody's going to be building on the road on the other side. This side of the culvert has a lot of rocks, as you can see, which may make building a little bit more creative. But I think this strip for the garden is going to be beautiful because I can incorporate the rocks in somehow. I don't know. I'm going to be very flexible. Now, some of you know that I have 120 windows to make a greenhouse. There's not going to be room for that down here. I don't want to cut down that many trees, but I'm going to have to cut some down to protect it. So I think it will be over there by the outdoor kitchen and where I'm going to put the shop and whatnot. Okay, so that's it. I'm not really sure what else to tell you. This will be off-grid. I'll do water catchment, a little bit of solar. The ground out here is too rocky, so they won't bring the water out. It would cost $1 million to get water to me, so it's all right. I'm good with that. I want to live as simply as possible, and I know that does not necessarily mean easy. So over here where my garden and my house will be, I'll be able to see that shed in the wintertime for sure. So it'll just be a short walk. I don't know what else to say or do for you at this point. It's just beautiful. I cannot wait to live here. Plant some pine trees in place of the cedars. So there's a stream at the bottom of this, and I know I'm house sitting for the lady next door, and then next door to her is will be permanent wilderness. Below me, there's a strip by the stream that will always be wilderness. And to the side, the woman that owns that owns land in several different places. She says she's not interested in selling, and she has, she's done it for a long time. So I think that it's probably safe to say that I won't be able to see a neighbor. Somewhere there's the flags, but I don't see them at the moment. We came out and walked the land and measured every 100 feet, and for every 100 feet there's bands on a tree. So at 100 feet there's 1, 200 feet there's 2. So I kind of know where I am on my space. But anyway, thanks for sticking out for this dang 18-minute tour of what's going to be my home within a year. Stay tuned. See you later.